I was not prepared for what I was about to witness.
Excuse me, can you let them know that I've got a private van, so if they want to come with me, they can?
If you like.
I don't know what language you speak. Oi, can someone explain to him that I have a private van, he can come with me?
So for today's topic, we are going to do an update on Shane. If you remember about a month ago, this was the gentleman that is in a wheelchair that was going on an MSC cruise over in Europe. Being that he is in a wheelchair, he was in need of accessible amenities and features during his cruising experience. However, just to give you a brief recap, we are going to watch his video of the recap as well as go over all of the other updates and the conclusion, but he had problems boarding. He had a problem with his room. It wasn't an accessible cabin. Instead, it was a standard cabin. And at a point in time, he even had to shower in the gym. He had problems with the gym, problems with the pool. And I do believe he gave a great critique on his experience on board this MSC cruise ship as a person that is in a wheelchair. So we are, of course, going to watch the video clips. I will, of course, react to them. However, I do want to let all of you know that Shane and I have been talking back and forth for the better part of a month. He has agreed with me to do a Zoom call or possibly even a live, but we both agreed that if you guys have any questions that you want him to answer or you want me to ask him, please put it in the comment box below. I will write it down and of course we will get it done. And during this video, guys, while it's going on, please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. That way you get updated whenever I post these videos.
So far, my MSC cruise experience hasn't been amazing. From my non-accessible room,
Oh my God. Things are not looking good. It's a disaster. Like,
to having to shower in public.
the bathroom is not usable at all. There's a step this big to get in.
So after these unfortunate events, eventually and thankfully, Shane was given an accessible cabin. I don't remember exactly what the problem was. I believe it was something along the lines that there were no accessible cabins because you had people that didn't need them that were put into the cabin and somebody ended up giving it up. Nevertheless, he did end up unfortunately dealing with some other problems that I had previously mentioned probably would happen and was honestly kind of standard, and that is when he was visiting the ports of calls over in Europe, like Tunisia, for example.
It was time to head back to my private van, and I was not prepared for what I was about to witness.
Excuse me, can you let them know that I've got a private van, so if they want to come with me, they can?
If you like.
I don't know what language you speak.
They're going to go somewhere else.
Just let them know, because this is not right. Can you help him help her?
Yes.
Oi, can someone explain to him that I have a private van, he can come with me?
He has got a private van.
What does he speak?
Spanish. No, I don't speak Spanish.
My van fits 8 more people. It's empty. You can bring your family.
Okay, me lo tengo que esperar.
Yeah. You come with me, get the van, they're coming with me. This is really messed up. It's like 40 degrees in this heat. It's disgusting. And the bus is not accessible. And I feel disgusted and angry at this cruise company that they would allow people with disabilities to come on these tours that are not appropriate for people with disabilities. Anyway, I'm lost for words and I'm so angry right now. And I hope that MSC see this video and sort their shit out, because this is disgraceful.
Now, as you saw in that video clip, that was a pretty big and honestly upsetting issue, not only for Shane, as you can visibly see, but I'm sure all of you watching were very sad to see that woman there having to struggle just to get on the bus. However, Shane did come up with an idea or a solution for MSC to possibly help out with over in Tunisia.
So when you think about how much money these companies and the cruise ship behind me are making, do you think it'd be worth the investment for them to buy just one accessible van or bus? Seeing that people with disabilities struggle really broke my heart. You know, they don't want to be left behind on the ship. They want to get off the boat and enjoy the adventure. But they can't do that unless they can get on the bus and go see the city like everyone else. So if you're a cruise ship
or MSC, or you own one of these bus companies, I ask and I plead with you, make the investment and just buy one van, one bus for people with disabilities so we can safely go out and do these adventures and spend the day exploring these beautiful cities.
So first of all, I have personally been to Tunisia. I went over there a couple years ago. Very beautiful place. However, you do have to watch out for a couple things. It is difficult to get around, even if you are walking. I can't even imagine if somebody is using a wheelchair. Second, watch out for pickpocketers over there. The people can be a little tricky. As far as the people selling you things, they can trick you into an excursion or a tour, and the next thing you know, they are trying to get you to buy a carpet or whatever it is over in that particular area with their friends. All of that to being said, as far as Shane's, let's say, ask of the cruise line, technically, I don't think it is a bad idea, but you have to look at the bigger picture of things. If every single cruise line out there that visits Tunisia, and let's say we look at a broader scale as well, every single port bought a, let's say, accessible bus to pick up all of the people that are on board that are in need of this accessible bus in order to enjoy their experience, while it's not a bad idea, if you got MSC, Virgin, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, well, Carnival wouldn't be over in Europe, but I'm saying on a broader scale globally, it would create possibly an issue. One, you're going to have buses just sitting there all day long. Who's going to drive them? Are they going to treat it like a private island where somebody somewhere on the ship is going to have a CDL or whatever licensing they need to get off the ship before everybody else and drive the bus around? Or are they going to hire people from, let's say, locally? That could also potentially, once again, put us in another predicament, another problem for obvious reasons. I am sure that the cruise lines could come up with something if needed to make sure that the people that are in need of an accessible bus are accommodated. Yes, they could afford easily to buy a bus or two, probably for every single port, but there is budgeting and details and, well, it's going to be a lot of factors, but I'm sure they can figure out something in the event that their other vendors that they are working with in these ports of calls can't accommodate when needed. Now, Shane, unfortunately, also did have another problem over in Italy.
Oh my gosh.
Sì, sì, te lo sto mandando, ok?
Oh my God.
Did you think it was over? He also unfortunately ran into more issues over in Marseille, France.
Booked a ticket.
Marseille shuttle bus, this one.
Is it wheelchair? It doesn't look wheelchair accessible.
Let me see.
So I booked and paid for a bus to take me into Marseille to the city centre, and I checked yesterday to see if it's accessible. There's 4 steps to get on.
Can you climb?
No.
No, not at all.
No. So I can't.
No, I'm very sorry.
So, not to sound like a broken record, but once again, as somebody that has gone to the European countries a lot, I mean a lot. I think I've been to 37 European countries so far, and what are there, like 44, 45, something like that? I've been to most of them, and I told you guys, especially when you go to places like your Italy's and your France, they aren't exactly the cities as far as their layout, because they are such long-lived cities. They've been around for thousands of years. They can't exactly accommodate people that are in a wheelchair, for example, to some degree because of the overall structure of these cities. It's not necessarily a bad thing. These places are historic. They are absolutely beautiful. But yes, the con to all of this is that they can't accommodate. And I do believe that changes could potentially be made down the road as more people begin to travel. But we will have to see, maybe sooner rather than later. Now, finally, we do have the long-awaited conclusion to all this. We have Shane's thoughts. So we are going to take a look, and, well, I'll see you after.
My cruise has come to an end, but I wouldn't say sadly. How would I rate my first cruise experience? Well, from the get-go, I didn't have the best experience. I didn't end up with a wheelchair accessible room, and the room that I got was definitely not suitable for people with disabilities. I got a bit of a problem with my room, and it's not accessible. This is the tiniest bunk room that I've ever seen, and the bathroom is not usable at all. There's a step this big to get in, and then there's a bathtub with a step this big to get in. It is not fine. This is absolutely not fine. I'm so happy that the cruise company could organise an accessible room. I can roll into the bathroom. You got no idea how happy this makes me. And there's a sink that I can fit under. The accommodation is pretty good as long as you do have an accessible room. The rooms are spacious, they're easy to move around in a wheelchair. The bathroom facilities are really great as well. If you are booking a cruise, it's really important to be selective of the type of cruise you book. The cruise that I ended up on was full of families, kids screaming all the time. Next time that I go on a cruise, I'm probably going to select something more like an adults only cruise or a luxury cruise that is a bit more quiet and chilled out. It's definitely been hard to sleep with people screaming down the hallway at 2 a.m. The facilities of the boat are also pretty good. There's bars and restaurants and heaps of things to do. But things like the swimming pools and the spas are not accessible for people with disabilities. I've just done a full lap around the pool and there is no wheelchair access or ramp access into the pool whatsoever. There's no ramps and there's also no chairlifts to help people out of their wheelchair and into the pool. I was really disappointed at the activities available for people with disabilities at each of the ports. The worst one was definitely Tunisia. Having that there were 72 buses and none of them are accessible for people with disabilities was really disappointing. I had to book my own bus, which went to the same places as all the other tourists anyway. And instead of paying €50, I ended up having to pay €250 for exactly the same activities. I was really saddened to see that there were also people with disabilities on the non-accessible bus and they really struggled.
And I hope that MSC see this video and sort their shit out because this is disgraceful.
I'd love to see this cruise company step up the accessibility when it comes to these stops. So people with disabilities can not only enjoy the boat, but they can also go out and explore the destination and be included. Choosing what time of the year you go on a cruise is also very important. Here in Europe, I'm actually going on a cruise right in the middle of their summer holidays. So the boat is completely full. That means there's people everywhere all the time. So it can be really difficult finding some quiet spaces. Even just going to the buffet, it is so loud and so noisy. So if you struggle with loud noises and loud spaces, this cruise might not be for you. And try to book your cruise during the season or a time of the year that's a little bit more comfortable. How would I rate my first cruise experience? I rate my first cruise experience 2.5 out of 5 stars. If you've been on a cruise before, I'd love to know what your experience has been. And some cruises are definitely more accessible than others. So if you've got some tips and tricks to share, pop them in the comments below. Thank you for joining me on my first cruising adventure. And together, we can not only wheel around the world, we can cruise around the world too.
Okay, so final thoughts. Shane himself said he would give his cruise 2.5 stars, which in the grand scheme of things, considering what he went through and his entire experience, he enjoyed 50% of the cruise. Overall, not bad. Also considering, in my personal opinion, I did mention this in my previous updates on this particular topic, that I believe that he would be better suited for a Virgin like he mentioned, or maybe even a more luxurious cruise line with potentially even less kids. This is why it is important that if you're going to book a cruise, one, do your research and do it thoroughly. Or if you decide to go with the travel agent, I am a travel agent, by the way. I have a great team that is extremely experienced. You can go through us. Link in the description box, by the way. Sorry for the shameless plug. I have to. I don't think that everybody may need a travel agent, but when I see people on Facebook forums asking questions and people an hour later trying to get back to them and then going on to give them potentially wrong information and then they book the cruise, honestly, if you guys feel you need a travel agent or you want somebody knowledgeable, book with a travel agent. If you want to do your own research, that is completely up to you, your prerogative, your choice. You should just enjoy your experience. And if you choose wrong, then it is what it is. It happens all the time because, yes, people don't have the luxury to be able to just say, this Carnival cruise is cool. I'm going to try Norwegian, then I'm going to try Royal Caribbean. Cruises are expensive. So make sure, once again, you do your due diligence. As far as the overall comments with him, yes, I believe that he is 100% correct. I do believe that MSC down the road, considering they are a European line and they're still going to adjust as the years go by, they are bringing more ships into the United States, they're going to feel out and say, hey, you know what? We need to make some adjustments for people that do need accessible cabins and need certain specific amenities so that they can also have equally a great time as all of the other guests. However, he did get me thinking a little bit. Why do all of the cruise lines out there use so much carpet? Maybe it's due to the fact that they can be replaced, and there are certain carpeting out there, that maybe can take a little bit more damage, a little bit more wear and tear, and there's plenty of cleaning solutions and all types of remedies in the event that there is a spill. I don't know, but this is what we have for the video. Again, guys, I will be talking with Shane personally. We will either be recording a Zoom call or doing a live stream, something of that nature. So if you have any questions at all, any questions, let me know in the comment section below and I will relay it over to Shane. But of course, on your way out, if you guys got any type of value out of this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and know as usual, I love and appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you later. Take it easy.